Yeah, it can't be ignored anymore. Welcome back to the Vietnam Financial Forum 2026, and today my guest is Miss Jamiewellstern, aka Miss Twin, and she is the director of the Saigon Fintech Capital and Galaxy Holdings and one of the founding members of the Vietnam Financial Center. What an amazing title you have. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today. Thank you, Paul, and the amazing team here. And it was my pleasure and also an honor to share with you about everything, the perspective in the next coming years with the very, very new concept in Vietnam, the International Financial Center. This is a one-in-a-lifetime generations project, not just for Vietnam, but also for the whole global financial markets, to get to know about what we are building, something really great and impactful.
So before we get into what you're doing as part of this, my first question for you is very simple. It is, what brings you here to Da Nang and to the Vietnam Financial Forum today?
Wow. Who doesn't love Da Nang?
Now, we talked earlier, you mentioned that it had been a while since you've been here.
Been a while, yes.
Yeah.
I haven't been back here since I think more than 10 years.
Wow.
Straight from the UK, but I know a lot of Brits family. They moved here and they lived permanently here for a few years, many, many years. And I think Da Nang is one of the most worth living city in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken. And so there's so many reasons to be in Da Nang, right? But the main reason is we are honored to got invited by the Vietnam Financial Forum 2026 to share our perspective and to help shaping the future of the financial center in Vietnam.
Yeah, so we were talking about the Vietnam Financial Center. We are here in Da Nang right now, but it is really a nationwide initiative. It's in Ho Chi Minh, it's in Hanoi, it's here in Da Nang.
Donald Trump even went here
That's
in
right.
the first term.
I remember that, yes.
Yeah, so who doesn't want to be here?
Well,
oh my God, it's a lovely city. It's a lovely city. It's much busier than 10 years ago when I was here, but it's more vibrant, and Da Nang has more and more proved itself like a financial centers of Vietnam, like extended arms from the government.
well, you can see Da Nang as kind of a precursor to what's happening nationwide in Vietnam. And what is it that you're seeing? Not just from the financial side, we're here talking about finance, but as the economy as a whole, what sectors do you see are flourishing? What areas are you focused on within this economy, and where does it fit within Asia?
It's interesting questions. So when I was in Marina IFC Tower, it's like an iconic building of Saigon, and it's like the government want to build the whole financial center in that area, central, amongst every other part of the city, because Saigon is quite big, it's a metropolitans. And comparing that, I think I read on the news that the Prime Minister says Da Nang and Saigon is like two destinations, but one mission. I think on the scale is Da Nang is not as big as Saigon, but for the balancing, of expats, families, foreigners, you have that kind of mixture of, the coastal lives and the airs, and it's bring you not just like the vibrance that you see in the big city, but more also the calming peace of life. So I think a lot of people choose Da Nang because of the life balancings, It's very high quality of life here for families and great for children as well. So the beach is there, the financial center capital is there. All the international events from the world happen to be here. So it's a good land, I bet.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I decided, my wife and I, we decided to stay here in Da Nang, is for all those reasons you just said, especially for children. And that's something that we're raising our family here, and I know you have a family, and this is something that is big part of your work is with children and family. Can you go into that a little bit more and explain to us what exactly you do when it comes to finance and children?
That's so amazing because I by myself, I lived in different financial center of the world like Moscow, London, Luxembourg, or Saigon, Singapore. I visited Dubai many times as well, and we have lots of families over there. So in terms of overall scoring, before you have children, right, you can travel around the world. You can I work in private equity sector, and I travel a lot, and that is great. At some point, when I started I live in Wall Street of London, and that is all the financial centers and the big guys, the incumbent sector surrounded you. It's a different vibe, like, Wall Street. And then I started to have my 2 babies, and it's, how to say, when you are like a woman in banking, a woman in fintech is a bit rare figure. So when you go pitching and also as a mother as well, it's not easy to balance all kind of that. But thanks to COVID, people started to accept that everyone can work from home, high profile people can work from home and be with their family, and people started to realize that the work-life balance between family and career is a very, very vital part of life. And like me and my husband always said, it's great if we can build something surrounded by our children, not separate from the children, because lots of billionaires, when you interview them in the podcast, and I heard that you ask them what do they miss the most, they will say like they miss the time with the little ones when they're growing up. And the sooner we realize that, it's like kind of like awakened somehow, we have just to do something together with the kids around. Now I have 3 children, so to balancing that is not an easy. Nobody can balance that, to be fair. And
I know what you mean.
Because if people said to you they can balance that, that is a lie. That is a lie. Tell me that. And lots of billionaire women with the figures, they have 3-4 children. That is absolutely not possible. But so we try to, the first 6 years, try to accompany with the children and build for them. They can see London as a financial center, as a home picture. And they go with us to all kind of events of fintechs, Some events they will accept that because we put them as the founders of the next generations of payment. So we have uniforms for them and bring them on stage. Some events we say no because they have some alcohol beverages, so children under 18 is not accepted. But we try to establish that picture, when you inviting us as a founders of a neobank for family and children. If you don't take the children in, then it's the whole family or not, So we just turn around and we just say, okay, then this is not the right event for us. So we celebrate ourselves. And it just started like that because we stand our ground. There's nothing to be apologized for. And we try to do business and building up the fintech world in a very unapologetic way. Confident that the children, they no matter how much you try to teach your children about the value of money or the value of presentation, public speaking, confidence in business, but they will not understand, because monkey sees, monkey do.
I'm very happy you brought this up because we've been to many of these types of events, just like the VFF, and you never see children around. And oftentimes it gets lost on people that we do this, we save for our children in the future. And like you said, monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, they better do
But
that.
when they see you dressing up, in a suit, networking, being on stage, giving speeches, that model that you're giving those children is so important. And oftentimes they're quieted off to the side for this. Very interesting. So we'd like to see more children at events like this.
We should. Yeah. And you see already, like the world, we saw, I think the prime ministers or leaders of the Western world, New Zealand or some Western countries, they bring children to the Congress Hall. More and more that pictures, as I said. it has to go with the awareness of people, and COVID helps people more accepting that picture. Eventually, some kids like until 18 years old, they ask what Papa and Mama doing, and they have no idea, they have no clue. If you're not even on TV or something, and you do just the back office work, they can never see you in that side of professional world if they don't get to witness that. So we establish as much as opportunities as possible, if we can, everywhere. So that is, I think, when we are so busy in our own thing, in our professionalisms, we cannot side by side or like guiding them, parenting them, teaching them. The best way is like just showing them what you're doing, so they're shadowing you and they're absorbing, they're absorbing the environment, and that is the best way that you can pass down to the generations, I guess.
That's right. Even when we go for a networking event, we get dressed up and we like to show our daughter, this is why we're doing it, this is where we're going. But it's more than just showing it. It's also the fundamentals of saving, of being smart with money and understanding the value of money.
Yes.
Can you go into that a little bit more? Why is this so important for the young generation of Vietnam to understand the value of money today?
I think not just for Vietnam, but the whole world. So after COVID, there was like a disruptions of neo-banking sector. You can see a lot of names coming out like Revolut, Monzo, Starlink. And we have a lot of neighbors from JP Morgan's in own of the banking around Citibank. So the incumbent sector, they have so many departments. And when you ask the staff inside, lots of them don't know how to even manage their personal cash flow.
Really?
That's the issues. Everyone had to like self-educating, and lots of them missing that out. Like they may work in the bank, but they still have a lot of credit cards debt. Mm-hmm. That is a common thing, And they might work in the bank, but they may invest in like mortgage or get trapped in the mortgage trap for lots of like their whole life, and they can make the decision. So we have lots of conversation about that. And, Bill Gates said something very important, like banking is needed, but banks are not, and it's more practical apply after the COVID, because my children generations, I get as well as yours, they will grow up without the high street bank anymore. You know what I mean? And then the on the transaction, because we need banking transaction daily, but do we really need like a big offices sitting every corner, and people, because of COVID, people less interacting or going to the branch by itself, and they have more awareness about how to control the money better in those kind of adversity or things just collapse, and so what comes next? You don't know, and then they just like a wake-up call for everybody. So what you leave, what you pass down for the people around you or for the next generations. And,
so this kind of goes into what you're into. You're into fintech, right?
Yeah.
And so on the surface level, fintech is scanning a QR code and doing local bank transfer. I mean, our children get to see that.
Yes. But you know what is so interesting? We live in Canary Wharf, which is like a Wall Street of London, and that is a cashless zones after COVID.
Yeah.
So the kids is not like ourselves, growing up with counting the cash money, like the notes. They don't have the opportunities to touch the notes, put in the piggy banks, because everything is like Apple Pay and transactions, after COVID. And no merchants, the restaurants, cafes, they have the policies that no cash accepted. And one day my son, like I think around 5 years old at that time, he wanted to buy some toys, and I said, sorry, I don't have any budget for that. And he was like, what are you talking about? The money is in the phone. You know what I mean? It's like a wake-up call for me.
Yeah.
The money is in the phone.
Yeah.
They think the money is laying on the phone or like living inside of that. It's not like there's no literacy about money education at all in terms of like, and then when they grow up without any physical payments or not payment anymore, how do they even justify, like which part of saving or stuff like that?
Yeah, it kind of changes the psychology and the relationship with money. I mean, when we grew up, we had those piggy banks, and
Yeah.
we got our allowance for doing chores around the house. Children these days, they don't have that.
Yeah,
They-
such a missing
It
opportunity.
is.
So that's why the neo-banking for family and children, we wanted to do some literacy around money and finance for young generations and the parents as well, to interact with them. So the children will eventually, they will understand that it's not taken for granted. If they want some present for Christmas, they have to work towards that. So if they do their job every day properly, by themselves, they wake up with the routines, disciplines, they follow through their homework or one of the exercise or activities during the day, cleaning up the house chores. It's like a responsibilities, and then the parents can reward it
Yeah.
through different types of pots. And they need to work really hard just to earn it. Not that a parent should just give them the present for their birthday.
So if your children do a chore, do they get Bitcoin as a reward? I mean, what's a good way to teach our children about the future of banking and finance now that we are going to more cashless society?
Yeah.
What is the best way to teach our children that relationship that they need with money?
Yeah, so we don't have like a physical notes anymore in lots of developed countries. So it's hard for them to have a concept about like lots of, I saw high profile billionaires or CEO of big companies, like Lockheed Martin, the CEO, she said that one of her success story or elements is because of the mother is very know how to economize as the kids, when they go to the supermarket. So it can start with something very simple. You go to the toy store, you go to the supermarket, and then with the budget that you give for them, like a homework or like assignment, they go inside and how they come out with the most value of the items. So that is like in the daily activities they can apply that kind of started to think first, And so with my children specifically, one time they went to the toy store with the Oma is like grandma in German language. And I said to them, listen, it's grandma treat, but you have a cap. So each of you cannot go over £3 for the thing because it's a treat. It's not something that like you need a mega value for grandma treats. And my 3 children just went in. So the good thing is like they started to just manifest the number. They will not look at anything over £3, like that is the cap. And they don't have an eyes for other things anymore. So that is something, you put in their head, manifestation with the cap, that this is for that and this is the budget, and you can start slowly to get used to it. Same with supermarket, they go and they get dessert as well, they get a lot of stuff, and now eventually we have to evaluate, okay, with that cost and what is the value that brings to your body. So we always give them kind of like questions, like Q&A, is that really do good for your body? What are you buying? Like, for example, £2, £3 on that sweets. It bring you more value for your body, or it bring more toxics for your body?
Yeah. That's a very interesting way of looking at it. So are you educating the world, or you're educating, I guess here in Vietnam, but you're educating children and women these concepts about the future of finance. Is that fair to say? Is this an initiative that you have?
So that is the mission that I try to bring value with my startup, with the bigger missions course of Vietnam and International Financial Center. I want to bring Vietnam in the map, of the global financial center in the world, benchmarking with, Singapore, Dubai, London, and New York, because Vietnam has been so acting like an overlooked market for so long, And last week I hosted a Singapore delegation from Fintech associations, and it is very inspiring me that now, Singapore is the biggest fintech market in the world. Like their festival can attract like thousands and thousands of big numbers around the world. And now they see Vietnam is not like a market just to observe anymore, but a market to be in. The question is like, why not sooner?
Yeah, it can't be ignored anymore.
Yes, you cannot ignore it anymore. We are like a rising star in Southeast Asia. We have like a very high GDP growth consistently, among any others. And we are growing with God's speed. So, and Vietnamese people, hardworking attitude, they deserve to be recognized and own the business as well. Personally, I think all the Vietnamese should deserve financial freedom, financial literacy.
Well, you